After we got engaged, my fiancé sent me a child from overseas. Included was an email. Eleanor, I was so bored that Tiffany and I ended up with a kid. Since you will be my wife, I am entrusting him to you. Get to know him. You will be our nanny when we come home. I turned the child over to the butler. Mr. Davies. 7 years later, Derek Blackwood finally pulled up to the gates in a flashy sports car. A cigarette dangled from his lips. He tilted his head, slid off his sunglasses, and smirked. Did you miss me so much that you came to wait for me early? Tiffany and I married overseas for the kid's sake. But do not worry, I will still give you a wedding. He blew smoke rings toward me. The fumes stung my eyes and I stumbled back. Had no one told him in the past 7 years that I'd married his mafia boss uncle. Seeing my reaction, Derek walked over and slapped my shoulder. Wow, moved to tears. Keep Tiffany and me happy, and you might still get to be Mrs. Blackwood. I almost laughed in his face. Derek, whatever gave you the idea? I am desperate to marry you. He stared at me like I'd grown a second head. You got engaged to me at 20. You've been raising my kid for years. Who else would have you? Thank God I dumped that asshole 7 years ago and married his uncle instead. A few years back, when we said goodbye at the airport, he'd held me tightly, promising solemnly, Eleanor, wait for me for 5 months. I'll make something of myself and come back to marry you. Turns out, he'd only been gone a month. Then, his and Tiffany Reed's child was sent back. They'd been secretly seeing each other all along. The thought of it made me raise my hand, ready to slap him. But before my hand could land, a child's voice interrupted me. Mommy! Max suddenly popped out, holding his arms open for a hug. Me husband was busy with meetings today, so I was taking care of Max alone. I bent down to pick up Max, but someone abruptly snatched him away. Who are you calling mommy? I am your mother! Tiffany Reed burst out from behind Derek, seething, and slapped Max twice. My eyes twitched with rage. I spun around and pushed her. Before she could even fall, she grabbed Derek's sleeve and began to sob dramatically. Derek, I just want the child to call me Mom. Eleanor refused and then tried to hit me. Her cry instantly drew all the bodyguards. They surrounded Max and me, while Derek just watched with cold eyes. I shielded Max behind me, gritting my teeth. Are you all blind? You are surrounding me for a mere housekeeper? Do you even know who I am? Derek snapped, then snuffed out his cigarette and pointed at me. Eleanor, who gave you the guts to talk to Tiffany like that? She is Mrs. Blackwood, the child's biological mother. You not only stopped them from bonding, but you publicly insulted her. I scoffed, pushing his hand away. This child isn't hers. A low-class housekeeper trying to claim my son as her own. If I hadn't been kind enough to give her a job as a maid back then, she would have starved. Who knew she'd go and seduce my fiancé? Derek grew even angrier. He snatched Max from my arms and thrust him into Tiffany's. Max's cries echoed through the yard. You are bad people. Go away. Seeing Max's face red and tear-stained, my heart ached. But just then, Tiffany dropped to her knees at my feet. She stroked the child's small face, weeping loudly. Eleanor, even if you hate me, you can't abuse my child. With that, she pulled up Max's shirt, revealing red marks on his back. Derek's eyes widened, and when he looked at me again, his expression had changed. Eleanor, I kindly entrusted the child to you for practice. I trusted you so much, and you dared to whip him. Did you become this malicious just because you couldn't have me? Max's back was covered in parallel whip-like marks, terrifying in shape. Derek couldn't even imagine what kind of life his son had endured these past few years. But he didn't know. It was just a high fever. I had taken Max to a specialized pediatric clinic, where they performed a traditional therapeutic treatment to bring down the fever. A few days ago, Max had a high fever, but due to his sensitive constitution, he couldn't take medication. So the doctor suggested trying the alternative treatment. At the time, even my husband couldn't quite understand the treatment, and he'd had Mr. Davies, and even the nutritionists, all sent out of the mansion. If my husband knew Derek was bullying Max and me like this, now, he'd probably